Hello, welcome to Firearms of America, and today, as you guys can see, I have another pair of Danner boots to review. And if you are subscribed to this channel, you already know that I am a big fan of Danner brand. So let's take a look. This is finally a very often requested Danner Tanicus in 8-inch configuration. Alright, so let's take them out and let's take a look. So if you are curious, if you're looking for a waterproof boot, these are not waterproof. As you can see, they do have two drainage vents, basically allows for a quick drying. We will talk about it later, but they do have the waterproof version without these vents. So just in case, they're identical, they're exactly the same. The only difference is that these do have the vents for quick dry and the other ones are waterproof, but we will talk about this later. So if you don't have time to watch the whole review, let me quickly say these boots are great. I absolutely love them. There is a good reason why they are so popular. They are very comfortable. They are surprisingly easy to put on with this lacing system, which we will talk in detail later. I do like the outsole. There is a special purpose for this particular outsole. Again, we will talk about this later. They are true to the size. Overall, if you are looking for a good pair of tactical military boots, this is a really good option. Alright, if you do have time to watch the whole review, let's get into it. As some of you already know, this review is specifically for my Ultimate Survival Boots collection. So it's not just a regular boot review. No, we are actually judging the boot based on 8 different criteria that would be contributing to our survival. Basically, if anything bad happened, right? I don't know, natural disaster, war, or global pandemic. You know, not a lot of chances of that happening, obviously, but you never know, right? And this was the boot that you were wearing, or this was the boot that you had in your house. And obviously, you want to wear a boot. You don't want to wear dress shoes, right? To travel through long distances, to get to safety, where you have to wear this pair of boots for a very long time, where you have to sleep in them, where you have to climb, where you have to fight in these boots, do whatever you need to do to survive. So if this Danner Tanicus was the last boot that you put on, would this be a good survival option? Let's get into it. So criterion number 1, of course, one of the most important, comfort level. So like I said in the brief introduction, very good boots. I really do like the comfort level of these boots, and there are a few factors that contribute to the comfort level. First one, let's get it out of the way. It's of course the weight. Let's take a look, and this is size 10 and 22.6, which is definitely on the heavier side. Usually I say, you know, whenever you're looking for lightweight boots, anything under 20 ounce is going to feel very lightweight. Whenever you start going above 20 ounce, that's where you start feeling that weight, especially whenever it comes to running. And that's what I do to test all my boots here. I do a 3-mile run without stopping, and then a 5-mile walk. Again, everything without stopping, a walk right after the run. The total wear time is about 7 to 8 hours. These were definitely comfortable, and they are not very hard to run in, which is very nice. They're not too much above 20 ounce, you know, 22 ounce. 2 ounce doesn't really make that much of a difference, but still, keep that in mind. Another factor that contributes to the comfort level of these boots is the flexibility of the bottom sole. And here, the bottom sole is actually very flexible. So whenever you're running, you can still, yes, I know, the bottom sole, it looks really massive. And I'm looking at it through the camera. It does look very nice and thick and offering a lot of protection, right? But yes, it is still flexible, so you can run properly in these boots without putting too much stress on your ankles and on your knees. Of course, there's another factor that contributes to the comfort level, is the inner sole, which I'm gonna take out so that you can actually take a look and see. And I am a really big fan of this inner sole. Not only not only it is nicely shaped, as you can see, it has a nice heel bed. Not only it is a little bit thicker than usual, but the more you go to the heel, the more padding you get, and right on the heel there is sort of a hump. So there's extra jelliness in there, and I do like it a lot because even if you are not running properly, for example, you don't have a proper running technique, or you were running for too long and you got tired to run properly, so now you're putting that stress on the heel. This really helps, and it takes on a lot of impact. Very, very good. Now, if you take out the inner sole, surprisingly, a lot of boots don't have that, but this boot actually does have some extra padding before it gets to the hard rubber. Not in the toe box, a little bit in the toe box, but not as much as on the heel. Again, the way they did it is they did more padding in the heel, and it's really nice. I mean, if you are running in this boot and you're putting pressure on your heel, the amount of padding that they provided just gives you so much, takes on so much of the impact. Another thing that I wanted to point out in this boot that really contributes to comfort level is the padding that they implemented here on the top of the toe box. Basically from the inside, that top level from the inside is also padded, and I really do like that a lot, because in a lot of tactical boots, in a lot of military boots, you don't have anything, especially whenever it comes to leather boots. It's really just leather, and sometimes whenever you're running, especially, your toe, it just keeps on wobbling around back and forth, smashing on the top, and if it's just a hard leather or synthetic material, whatever it is, you really do get fatigued very quickly. Not a case in this boot. Another thing that I wanted to point out, as you can see, there are a lot of factors here, is that the tongue is also padded, which is very nice. Again, in a lot of military boots that I have reviewed on this channel, even some Danner boots like Tachyon, they don't have any kind of padding whenever it comes to the ankles and whenever it comes to the tongue. It's really just a basic synthetic material like this one, and it rubs on your shins. And if you're not wearing long socks longer than the shaft of the boot, you will get hurt. You will get hurt because it just keeps on rubbing on your shins. Not the case here. Here you can wear regular short socks, not even covering the full length of the shaft, and it's still gonna feel nice because of this padding. Okay, so much about the comfort, right? Let's move on to the criterion number 2. It's proofing and protection. And like I said, this model right here that I have in front of me is not waterproof, but I do like it a little bit more than a waterproof model because it has these drainage system. And I always say it, it really comes down to the preference. There isn't really 100% waterproof boot out there, right? No matter how amazing the waterproofing is, you still have the length of the shaft, and if you step into something deeper than the length of the shaft of the boot, the water, even if it's a little bit, gets in there, and now you're wet, and now your problem is drying the boot. And it's very important to dry the boot and not walk or run in wet boots, because you know you can get infection, you can get a whole bunch of problems from walking around. You can get sick from walking in wet boots, right? So you want to dry. Here there is no waterproofing, right? But they do dry really quickly because they have the drainage system, which allows for water to drain, and at the same time for them to dry faster because you now have that extra ventilation going. So again, comes down to the matter of preference. There is really no right and wrong here. Now, whenever it comes to the protection, let's talk about what the boot offers. Obviously, you do have a very nice level of protection from the bottom because the outsole is very nice and thick, and you do have this very hard outer layer of rubber, which is extremely hard. I mean, it feels just like a rock hard. Yes. You don't really have a lot of toe protection in this boot There is some extra layer of leather going around it, but again, it's not enough to protect you from anything, from any kind of impact. If anything falls on your toe, you're definitely gonna feel it. There is really no protection whenever it comes to the ankles. Like I said, it is padded, but not to protect you from the impact. It's more of a comfort padding here. And the heel, again, there's a little bit of a reinforcement here, but not much, nothing really sufficient to, protect you from the impact. So there isn't really much of the protection whenever it comes to, stuff falling on your feet. Or something like that. Okay, so let's move on to the criteria number 3, quality and the design features. Quality-wise, Danner is an absolutely amazing brand. Like I said, I've reviewed a lot of different boots from Danner: military boots, tactical boots, hiking boots, and work boots too. And I never had any kind of problems with those. I never had any kind of quality complaints. And you can check, the link is in the description below, the link to these boots on Amazon, and of course you can find other Danner boots and see the reviews for yourself. People absolutely do love these boots. Now this particular one has more than 280 reviews and almost 5 stars. So I think it's 4.5 stars. So people do like them. Quality is great. Now whenever it comes to the design features, usually I talk here about the lacing system, and like I said, I do like the lacing system because it allows for a very quick lacing. The strings do glide very nicely without any kind of hiccups or anything like that. And the reason for that is because the hardware here is actually metal. Yes, as you can see, there are 4 pairs of closed hooks here, and there are 4 pairs of rings on the lower part. And of course, because they are metal, the strings just nicely glide through these hooks and rings without any problem. So most of the times, whenever it comes to military boots without the side zipper, it really takes a lot of time to put them on. Not this case, not in this case. These are pretty good. Okay, so let's talk about the criteria number 4, outsole traction and stability. And like I said, this outsole has its specific purpose. Now I test my boots on a variety of different surfaces, starting from asphalt, newer tarmac. I go on the sand, wet sand, dry sand, and then I go on the surfaces like grass, dry grass, wet grass, rocky road, trail surface, just a mix of everything. And then of course some flat, shiny surfaces. Now, as you can see here with this outsole, there isn't really a lot of aggression. For the most part, this outsole is flat. It is more designed to sandy surfaces. So this boot, it performs absolutely amazing on the sand, whether it is a dry sand or a wet sand. It has a very nice grip. It does not sink into the sand. Sand does not get stuck in between the grooves, because think about it, whenever you have those aggressive grooves, that's where the sand gets stuck. And then if you do get some sand stuck, obviously you lose traction, you lose stability, and also you gain some weight in the boot, because now you have some sand hanging around in the grooves. Not the case with this one. So again, if you are planning to have these boots on mostly sandy surfaces, great choice. You're gonna love them. Now they are a little bit slippery on surfaces like wet grass. Absolutely no problems on tarmac and asphalt and rocky road, but they do perform pretty good on shiny surfaces like marble and tile. Again, thanks to these hexagon, octagon looking things on the bottom sole, they do provide a very nice flat, and that's what you need on shiny surfaces. You do need those flat bottom soles that are more flat than aggressive. Okay, so done with the outsole. Overall, I do like it. Again, it has its specific purposes. If you are looking for stuff, in the sand, great choice. Okay, so let's move on to the criteria number 5, temperature. Now, obviously, these boots, as you would imagine, they are more designed for warmer climates. I wouldn't recommend them in the winter, first of all, because obviously they don't really have a any kind of insulation, not a lot of insulation. They don't have any insulation at all. They're not designed to be used in cold weather. But I mean, you can get a waterproof version to walk around in the snow, and probably can get away with some insulated socks. But again, these are not designed for the winter. They are more designed for a warmer climate. And in the warm climate where I tested them in Florida, 100 degrees weather, that's where I was running in them, they do feel very nice and breathable. Now, one contributing factor also to that might be the vents here. So keep in mind, if you are getting the waterproof version, you might compromise a little bit of that breathability. Just keep that in mind. Okay, let's move on to really quickly criteria number 6, sizing. They do run true to the size. I always recommend everyone getting half a size bigger whenever you're getting your boots. So let's say you're wearing your sneakers, dress shoes in size 9, get yourself boots in size 9.5. Just to give you a little bit of that extra space whenever you're running, especially whenever you're going down the hill. Whenever you're going down the hill, your foot tends to slide forward and hit the toe box if it's exact size. But if you do have a little bit of that extra, you have a little bit of that extra to protect your toe, and it really makes a lot of difference. I got that advice. I'm not a professional hiker, but I got this advice from a professional hiker, and it changed the game for me. Okay, so let's move on to the criteria number 7, which is kind of like a conclusion, right? The balance of application. If this really was your last ultimate survival boot, right, and something bad happened, would this be a good boot to survive? I think if you live somewhere in the sandy, right, you know that you would have to walk through a lot of sand, through, for example, a desert, right? Or you live in a warmer climate, like myself, like in Florida, right, for example. Or you're planning these boots as your summer survival boots. And again, your terrain will be mostly sandy, right? Also, if you prefer more mobility over protection, right? So you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of that protection, not reinforced toe, not reinforced ankles, but you have a light boot that you can move around quick and be faster and run faster, fight faster, all of this sort of things. And also, in this particular version, if you prefer something that drains water instead of being waterproof, I think you're gonna absolutely love this boot, because the comfort level is amazing, the lacing system is amazing, the boot itself feels great. It feels like a really great quality boot. So I think you're gonna like it. But again, if you're looking for winter boot, you probably wouldn't be watching this. So not even worth mentioning. Not gonna waste your time. So let's move on to the criteria number 8 very quickly. The price. Currently these boots are at $139.95. So $140 currently on Amazon. You can find them cheaper here and there. Sometimes on Amazon they do some additional discounts. Again, the link is in the description below if you want to check it out. What can I say about the price? Definitely on the pricier side. Yes, it's very bitey price. However, I do think it is fair. There is a lot of competition in that price point. There are, of course, other Danner boots like Tachyon. You can check them out. I do like those boots very much. There are, of course, a few tactical and military boots from Under Armour in the same price range, which again recommend you checking out. Like, for example, just recently reviewed Under Armour Jungle Rat. Also very impressive boot. So check it out. Again, you never know, you might like that a little bit more than this one. So there is a lot of competition. There are a lot of options in that price range. Do I think the price is fair? Yes, definitely fair, but there are a lot of options in that price range. So do your research, guys. Just want you to have the best option out there. Especially one thing to point out whenever it comes to best options is, of course, the bottom sole. Do you want something sand more specific? Do you want more of balance between aggression? Or do you want more of that straight up aggression, right? Check it out, guys. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about these boots. Again, overall, I do like it. Again, another Danner, and I am impressed. Absolutely love those, love that brand. Let me know in the comments below. Would you get this boot for, you know, for your military purposes, for your training? Would you get this boot for your work, or would you get this boot as your ultimate survival boot option? Your opinions matter, and of course, you know, if you have any reviews requests, definitely drop them in the comments below, because this is how I go about this channel. If there are reviews, if there are special requests, I try to add them to my to-do list and get to them first. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. This was Firearms of America, and I'll see you guys in the next video.